Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to Game 1 of the Star Ladder I-League Star Series NA Qualifiers. This is Phase 2. Going to be starting off this day very, very hot between Digital Chaos and Team NP. I am joined by none other than CC&C, but he is not here. So, hold up. Let me... Oh my god. The European qualifiers ran over time-wise because those, I guess they don't know how to close out games or something. So, now we're just setting up some stuff. It was very, very last minute, very cobbled together. I got switched over here onto English 2 rather than main. Oh man. So we're just waiting for CC&C to get in here. In the meantime, we're looking at the Underlord Rubik pickup on Digital Chaos. They're pretty strong with this. For the most part, I'm thinking this is a Saxa Rubik. I know he does play it occasionally from time to time to be defensive. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. But the Underlord coming through is going to be fascinating to see. He's going to be apparating all over the place with his team. I think I hear CC&C. You there, buddy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Heck yeah, I'm going to turn you up just a little bit, though.
Okey-doke.
There we go. So it's all working out now. Some big NP news today. They grabbed Bone7 as a coach. So we've got TI4 era C9 and then C9 next generation all kind of crammed together for NP here. Do you think that's really going to affect them in this game?
I mean, maybe a little bit. I think Bone7 has a very strong personality, or has at least been known to be that way. So I think he'll have at least a little bit of an influence. And he's always been good friends with EE, and a little less so, I think, with Aoi and the rest of the gang. But EE and Bone7 played together for a long time, so I think he'll have at least a little bit of an influence, and maybe more, as he does. Have a pretty strong personality.
But I really hope that we can see something coming out from them. We did just recently have Digital Chaos coming out of Dota Pit, going down to Secret and Faceless, which is kind of surprising considering they did win ESL 1 Genting. Do you think, is it just, the new patch hitting them hard, or what do you think it is that Digital Chaos is really dealing with right now?
I mean, it could just be the way they match up against those teams. They didn't play either of them in ESL Genting. I don't think either of them were there. And DC, a team that's also reasonably inconsistent. They have some really, really top tier results. They won ESL Genting, second place at TI, obviously. And then they have other tournaments where they just kind of ball out like they did with the most recent one. So I think DC can be inconsistent from tournament to tournament, but they're either really cold for a tournament, they're really, really hot. So we'll have to see how they do in the Star Ladder.
Well, they're starting off very strong, grabbing Underlord. Recently, in a lot of professional games lately, we've been seeing this Underlord. You can use it to such an aggressive stake. I mean, you can take a team fight just as it's starting to go south. You just rift out to a shrine and then go back in once everyone's all healed up. We saw that a bunch with EG recently. Do you feel that hero has the right tempo, though, going in with Digital Chaos?
Yeah, I think so. I think the hero is not that hard to play around, or you need a specific team to play him. He's just, in general, a very good hero. He's extremely good lane push, unbelievably good at defending towers, and also scales well into the late game, which is an issue a lot of offliners have. Is sometimes they'll fall behind and won't do the most late game unless there's some sort of a blink stun, some sort of a slaughter axe, whatever. Underlord doesn't have the typical stun that an offlaner has. He has a root, which is close, but with the atrophy aura and then the ults always being able to, like you said, go and hit the racks and just pour it out and just get out of any sticky situation. Like as the game goes later and later, and the delay goes shorter and shorter whenever you get to the level 3 ults. So yeah, Underlord's just a really strong hero. I don't think you need a specific team to play around him. Just a very good hero.
Fair point, fair point. Looking at these drafts here, though, it's looking like NP have very, very strong push. This could be an off lane or a jungle Enigma. It's looking more more like it might be off lane actually there on MSS. Um, what do you think the weak point here with NP is? What can Digital Chaos take to like exploit their draft so far? Do you, in your opinion, at least?
I mean, it's pretty early on. NP obviously really getting on board the Lone Druid range form hype train, as well as sort of taking the strategies that EG was using, which is pairing it up with the Enigma. It gives you a big team fight ultimate to sort of make space for the Lone Druid to be mock sniper. It gives you really strong team fight. It also forces the other team to pick accordingly. You have to pick disables for the Enigma, and then you also need something to jump the Lone Druid or something to deal with him in some sort. So I'm kind of curious what answer DC has for this Lone Druid. I don't know if they expect them to take it in the first phase or if they were planning on banning it in the second, but this hero is starting to become extremely popular, so they have a lot of tower push already, so maybe looking to punish it early, as NP supports are pretty weak with low levels. Enigma, like you said, maybe an offlane. I would say probably an offlane. As Winter Wyvern and Enigma dual supports are not the greatest, so DC looking to punish NP early looks like so far. Yeah, as it is going to be the offline Enigma.
And he'll benefit so much, even just from one level of the Crystal Maiden's arcane aura there. There's so many routes now ever since that change. I actually love how that made so many heroes relevant. But the real question now is, do you think that's going to be one position Druid, or do you think Envy's going to be running that mid?
I think it's almost definitely one position. You haven't really seen anybody in the competitive scene run it mid. There have been some smaller random teams that will mess around with it mid, but most teams will run him in the safe lane. I think E can be viable mid, but I do believe that's also an AoE hero. E really hasn't been picking him in pubs, and typically, if NP is going to be picking a hero for E, it'll either have been one of his classics or a hero that he spammed in pubs, and also AoE's been picking in pubs. He also, I think, AOI is one of the few players that likes to go Helm of the Dominator on Lone Druid, because you do get the Savage Roar, or no, not Savage Roar, whatever the ability is whenever you go into True Form, the one that makes you and your bear do more damage. It goes onto your HOD creep as well, so that combined with you and the bear and like all the items and stuff, like you can take towers extremely quickly with the HOD creep. So I think he may actually go for that this game. I think he's experimented with it.
Troll Summoner is so amazing for that. You just get those little skeletons. Oh god, towers.
Yeah, I'll have to see if he goes for that, or if he goes for the average stuff.
And I mean, he's actually very good with micro. From what I've gathered, like over the years, he's progressed to the point where I would say he's probably one of the best micro players out there.
Yeah, I mean, he was Grandmaster in StarCraft. He always been a Visage player, a Chen player, so he definitely has, and Lone Druid also not a very difficult hero to micro. Same with HOD creeps. A lot of times you're just kind of M-clicking it on yourself or A-clicking it down lanes. So not the most micro-intensive hero for sure, and now he definitely has the skill to do that small amount of micro. But DC hitting the Lesh now, so sort of going more and more in on that push. It looks like it's going to be the Weehaw Lesh, so we'll see what NP picks to line up against that, but it looks like that's how they're gonna deal with this Lone Druid Enigma, the super strong team fight, especially with the Winter Wyvern as well. It's just so many big ultimates to buy space for this Lone Druid to get a bazillion right clicks in. DC looking to take it to them early. They may do some sort of a dual offlane with Underlord and Jakiro, which is super strong, and Lone Druid Crystal Maiden may have some issues dealing with that. Rubik, and then looking to last pick their carry for the safe lane. So DC has a lot of tower push, and NP may have some issues dealing with that if their lanes don't go really well.
Do you think DC is going to all in on the tower? I mean, we're about to see in a second, but go all in with the tower push? I know in the past month, I think Resolution's most played hero with the team is Naga. Do you think maybe they could go to try to kind of extend it late, or do you think they're going to go all in on this early push, like just tower demolition to, outrace the Lone Druid in that aspect?
I mean, I don't think they're going to go something like a Pugna safe lane. I think they will go, just a typical. Okay, yeah. So they go for the Gyrocopter, a more aggressive hero. Has the bonus range from the flak cannon. So whenever you hit the units, the others flak out in a 1,000 radius. So you're able to actually hit this Lone Druid. Very good versus the Winter Wyvern because you don't really care about the Cold Embrace. runs at a lot of these heroes, can be really strong versus Enigma in the offlane as well. The Rubik Gyrocopter. This Enigma is going to have some serious issues once Gyro gets a couple of levels. He's going to have to go to the jungle pretty early on, probably. And also, Winter Wyvern and Crystal Maid, very squishy support. So heroes that Gyrocopter isn't going to get massively punished by, isn't going to get nuked down, as he often gets massively punished by heroes like Slaughter and a lot of right clickers, but not much of that on MP. And the last pick, Alk, so I like this Alchemist pick a lot. It gives them some deep push. Listrak, not the greatest hero at bullying early on in lane. The Alchemist will have to be careful around level 5 or so, and the Lesh gets more points up in the Edict, so maybe it'll threaten a kill there, but until that point, and once Alk is 6, obviously he just goes and farms, but it's going to be kind of a timing game. If this Alchemist can get online, get to the Radiance, get up to like some core items, and start splitting the map, along with the Lone Druid, I think they will be able to win these team fights, but DC's early game is like really, really strong. I think a lot of it is going to come down to how these lanes play out and like how this mid lane goes, if we can outplay the Alchemist or not.
You just answered like every question I was about to ask, man. You were on point with this analysis stuff. I was gonna be like, oh yeah, what's their path to success for this team and this team? Oh man, I'm not even needed. I'm just here for hype, but I guess. So loading into this game here, what do you have any predictions in particular for how you think this game is going to play out in the first, say, 10 minutes? Just knowing how these teams play, is there any particular player that you think is really going to influence how this is going to play out?
I don't think there's a particular player just in general that's going to have a huge impact. I think it's more based around the drafts. I think MSS having a good start in the offlane, trying to get to a quick mech, so they get to a point where they can actually fight them, because there's going to be a key timing where if DC has a mech on Moomiander and they start manning down these towers with Lesh, with Jakiro, and NP doesn't have a Radiance, have a mech, then they're just not going to be able to contest these towers, and Winter Wyvern's going to sit there and he's going to spam them down, but that's not really going to be enough. Combined with the mech and just being able to zone this Winter Wyvern off the tower as well. So I think DC is going to have like a really, really strong early timing, and if NP's lanes don't go extremely well and they get to the point where they actually have enough items to fight, then this could go sour very quickly for them.
Do DC have enough catch to actually shut down this Alchemist, like, completely, or is it more just focus the other lanes and let the Alchemist do his thing and you can still take him no matter what?
I don't think you necessarily need catch versus Alchemist. One of the best things versus really greedy farmers like that is to take their towers, take map control early on, and then you can just slowly squeeze the life out of them, and they aren't able to get up to those core items they normally that they need to thrive, which is exactly what DC's lineup does. And they may have even predicted the Alchemist coming or something. But DC, back when the patch when Alchemist was super popular, picked Alchemist a whole lot. We have very, very good on it, so they definitely understand how to play around it and understand that you need to take these towers, squeeze out his map, and also very, very good at contesting the jungle stacks at just the right times, killing him in his jungle, taking his bounty runes, just making life really, really miserable for this Alchemist.
Well put. So, do you... I don't know, part of me, I feel like Jakiro has his place as a support, but right now I feel like it might have been a little greedy grabbing him. Gyrocopter, I don't feel like is one of the strongest laners out there, so he's... I think my question is this Jakiro going to be able to help keep that Gyro safe and achieve the end goal for DC?
We'll see. I think Jakiro... So it looks like he is laning top. I thought they may have put him bottom, but it looks like they are going to... Well, we'll see have to see how these lanes play out. But is the spectating glitch free? Because I'm stuck in Sox's player perspective, and I'm dropping frames really hard. I DC'd and drawn back in, but I'm still stuck in his player perspective.
It is not glitched for me, but that's going to be quite the problem.
Dota.
Okay, no problem. I can narrate what's going on here.
30 seconds to battle.
I am going to be... So, I feel like in this patch, in particular, like offlaners, the game kind of revolves around them, at least for the first 20 minutes. seeing how much that they can make the enemy team waste on them now. And, you know, if they can use their shrine at just the right time, get all of that. So I'm very interested to see how this Underlord will play off. Moon
All right,
me
I'm
and
free.
her. You're good?
Yeah, I'm good.
The shackles are broken.
They are sick. Alright, so it looks like they're gonna leave Moon solo versus Aoi and SVG. Like we said before, Lone Druid CM, not the strongest dual in the world, but Moon did start with the Calling Blade, so it looks like he's not super interested in messing with this lane early on, so he's gonna jungle these couple of camps, just cut all the trees down. So should get a decent amount of levels. Underlord, not the worst jungler in the world, also not the best. But we'll do good enough, and we'll get enough levels to whenever they want to start pressuring this bottom tower, can come over and just firestorm it down. So
Speaking about pressure, Rose right off the bat just trying to bully Wee back. It's all about, I think, getting that space for that Alchemist, just so he can at least get a couple waves under his belt. And, yeah. Rose
yeah, it's very,
getting
very
out of
common to have one support sit mid and pressure the Alchemist, or, you know, vice versa, give the Alchemist space. And neither one of DC supports really well suited to pressuring the Alchemist level 1. Also, you know, not a great kill combo with a Jakiro and a Rubik at level 1. So Alka's gonna have a nice first wave. Did have to share XP with the Winter Wyvern, so his level 6 gonna be slightly delayed, but not too bad. As we having some issues last hitting other towers, some of the creeps got into wacky HP ranges. So Envy having a nice start here. Definitely happy with how the mid games or with the mid lanes going so far. As this Alchemist definitely needs to have a good start for him to have any success in this game.
And speaking of that, I mean, Rose has had to sit over here and guard these dire ancients to prevent the Rubik from pulling the mid lane to them. That's painful. You know, he'd rather be sitting there in that lane helping to heal up Envy and all that. But now he's got to be here to connect and prevent pulls.
Yeah, this ancient pull thing is really clowny. I don't think this should exist, but DC taking advantage of it, and it's really, really annoying. It forces Rose to be here, like you said, not getting XP on the map, really not helping the Alchemist mid, and you know, just not really having the biggest impact on the map. So very, very nice strat from DC. Has the ward there, so is able to stand on the low ground and pull it back. And is going to continue to just screw around with his Alchemist, take his creeps away. Yeah, and there goes another wave.
Brutal. I mean, it was only half the wave or so, but it's the ranged creep. That's by far the most important creep in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to slow down the Alchemist level 6 massively. He's already rotating around trying to get this kill in Misery.
Yeah, Envy's going to... Oh, he doesn't decide to commit. Backing off. It's better safe than sorry, I suppose. Resolution, gunning down MSS and his little Eidolons.
Yeah, it doesn't have the boots yet, so wasn't able to get that right click in. Misery did have the boots, so able to just slightly outrun him. It's Misery, Moon Meander actually getting a reasonable amount of XP down bottom. Jungled for his Poor Man's Shield. And then Soxa sort of took over this area of the map as he continues to do these pulls. Just shoving in this bottom lane, getting as much as he can. Has 10 CS so far, so not doing too bad. Zowie only at 14, so Moon Meander actually doing quite well, although some of those are jungle creeps, but almost up to level 4 now.
He's putting a lot of pressure on this bear as well. That's very clever. Early on, that, you know, if you get that 300 gold, that more than makes up for not being able to do much in the first few creep waves.
Yeah, I think that this mid lane is very volatile right now. I think Weehaw definitely has some kill potential right now. Is level 5, has the Diabolic Edict, and a haste rune, so may try and get a kill on Rose here, but thinking better of it, just playing safe. I'm gonna go farm this wave under his tower, but after this wave and a little bit of the next one, he'll have level 6, so E's gonna have to be extremely careful to just go down in this lane. As giving his Lash a good start in this game is gonna be very, very difficult for NP to deal with. So you can see Alchemist just zoned back, not even able to come to the lanes. He's had a lot of XP denied, with Wyvern sharing his XP in a couple of waves, and Soxa constantly doing these clowny ancient pulls, so only level 4 in the Alchemist, while almost level 6 on Lash, so not the start that NP necessarily wanted in lanes, although MSS is sort of their shining hope right now. He's having a really nice start in this offense. As I say that,
he gets gunned down by Soxa. Fade bolt to the face. Misery with the dual breath, slowing him down so much. And MSS just barely getting his boots before that.
Yeah, they hit level 4 on Jakiro as well, so have the level 2 Liquid Fire, and just going to slowly chip on this tower with MSS going down. This TP back end is going to Midnight Pulse this, so probably going to stop them from making this push as the creeps are going to be drawn
mid
off.
lane, Envy dropping down, but Rose and SVG will clean up. So, we for Envy.
Yeah, I think DC is definitely happy with that. The Alchemist going down first, not getting any XP from that, still level 5, and also not getting any gold as he didn't get the kill. Forces both the supports to rotate, so now Moon has a better time bottom. Kinda almost up to his arcane with just continuing to spam with his waves. So the Lone Druid here that's normally very, very strong at punishing solo heroes isn't really able to do too much for him.
This is getting pretty scary for NP. They actually catch Envy in that Split Earth, and he's getting eviscerated by this Pulse Nova. Instead, we taking down Rose. Magic damage will go through that. You can try to heal yourself up as much as you want. Cold never bothered we anyway. I went there. Oh, the Maiden now getting pulled back, but seems like there's mana issues for DC, so MSS and the rest, almost all of NP are here. They're ready to party, and they take down Saksa.
Yeah, they have to keep him from just being able to be this aggressive and not getting punished. We going 2-4-0, so getting the 4th point of Dialogue Edict instead of maxing the stun earlier on, a pretty standard build. We're really coming into fruition here, so they take the tower 6 minutes in, and you can see already, EE no longer with a tower here. Weehao's not going to shove this lane out too much. Looks like he's going to kill these creeps, probably going to go back and block this up. And the wave going to be near his hill, and EE just really not able to come to this lane. He's going for the treads first, and it's getting some of these bounty runes, so not the worst thing in the world, almost is level 6, but we already left a level 8 compared to Envy's current level 5, so as well as Resolution having a much better start, a small lead in CS over Aoi, and taking this top tower now as well, even though they do get to deny. Definitely the kind of start that DC wants for this laning stage.
Do you think that the Lone Druid is going to be able to reverse the tempo that DC is setting? I mean, it's a strong hero at the moment, has great talents, but can he single-handedly like reset the way that the game is going?
I think a lot of it is going to come down to how they're able to defend these pushes, how they maneuver around the map, and if they can trade towers effectively. It looks like DC is going for a rotation down here, so we pairing up with Moon Meander. They do have the level 2 in the root, so 1.2 seconds, enough time to get the stun off, most probably. So they may be able to set up a kill down here on Aoi, but like I said, I do think it comes down to how they maneuver around the map. If they have the heroes in the right places, defending these towers, I think a lot of it comes down to Rose, and if he's able to stay set up, not go down, keep these lanes out as much as he can with the Splinter Blast, is working up towards those arcanes, and with the Arcane Aura, has almost infinite spam on this Splinter Blast, with the insane range of that spell, is going to be pretty good at keeping these towers alive, just constantly spamming the waves out. But we'll have to see. If Aoi goes down here, they'll lose this bottom tower, and things could start looking a lot grimmer very quickly, or more grim, excuse me.
On the bright side, as NP grab themselves levels, they're going to be very, very strong at D push. Come to think of it, with the Midnight Pulse, Acid Spray, Splinter Blast, like, I don't know. I'm eager to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think sort of the issue with that, though, is you don't really want all 3 of those heroes to be there. You only want this Splinter Wyvern to be there, and it's pretty easy to force him off the tower if you just walk behind. As, they're doing that right now, forcing Aoi back into the trees, pops the Edict, the bear getting quite low, and
yep, Aoi's running for his life, and just going to give up the tower.
They just don't have the resources to bring down here. If MSS tries to rotate, go for a gank, it's going to slow down his mech tremendously, which they really need to have some shot of taking these fights. Like we talked about, Moon getting very, very close to his mech, and MSS falling a little bit behind just because all these towers going down. So, that's sort of the issue. They can't rotate all these heroes around, or all their lanes will get pushed in if they TP a bunch of heroes down to bottom. Resolution getting pretty low top from all these Splinter Blasts. So Rose doing a nice job of making this top lane feel unsafe for DC as everyone rotates up here. So it looks like they're going to try and make a move, maybe get a kill in Resolution and take this tower. If they're just looking for something, because they can't really come down to this bottom lane, or they'll be trapped in all the other lanes will be shoved in.
Oh, bottom lane, the bear gonna fall down. Now he does have a resummon available, and this is prompting Envy to actually have to come defend. So the offensive capabilities top are going to be weakened. But they did get the root on Resolution. He's running. And now all of DC rotating in to deal with this threat. SVG almost getting caught in the dual breath there. Liquid Fire going to be slowing him down. Oh, and he gets stomped. Oh, SVG run down by the magic damage. And we will take the cake.
Yeah, it was very nice stun in the trees. They figured where he was. They get the kill, and now they're going to be able to push this lane back out with enough mana to get this out. Rose not having any of that is going to continue to just sit here like we talked about and spam these lanes out. Keep DC from grouping up and taking down these towers. It's going to be very difficult as Moon almost has the mech, so once they have that, going to start just pushing out these lanes really, really quickly with their Lash, their Underlord, heroes that kill these lanes extremely quickly, and then just going to be able to walk down, move around the map, and just 5-man down these towers, and there's not too much NP can do about it. It's EE's still working on that armlet, has some decent net worth, but only second in the net worth list from the top, so you really want the Alchemist to be on top whenever you do pick this hero, not a hero that does well at all from behind.
He is the most farmed on his team, but by now he should be, in an ideal scenario, at least 1,000 net worth ahead of that Leshrac. And the struggle is real. I mean, it's like NP are just running through quicksand at this point. They're just waiting. Like, they need that Alchemist to be active.
Yeah, I mean, the pulls by Sox were just absolutely huge. This Alchemist falling behind on levels, whenever you fall behind in levels versus heroes like Leshrac, heroes that have a lot of kill potential whenever they're up on levels than you. And it works that way with a lot of Alchemist lines. If he doesn't get to his level 6 around the time that
top lane, they get the black hole onto Misery, and he gets gunned down very, very quickly. It's going to be prompting a TP in here from Moon. But I think that's really all they needed. Just try to get a little bit of kills, a little momentum going their way.
Yeah, just using the black hole wherever they can, getting some pick-me-up kills, get a little gold boost, as they really need to make stuff happen, and just killing one hero, using the black hole, not the biggest deal in the world, as DC does have plenty of ways to cancel it, so until he has a BKB, it's not really going to be super useful in these team fights, and just gets a little gold boost, is going to have the mech in just a second now, so MSS has it around the similar time as when we enter, minus the arcane boots, so still doing quite well for himself as a Soul Ring instead, so they do have the mech now in a little bit better fighting shape, as he looks like he is going for that Helm of the Dominator, like we talked about in the draft.
Well, NP, they are TPing in to get ready to counter this bottom tier 2 push from DC. And as you were saying, Rose just splinter blasting the wave, trying to keep it going. Underlord TP in, though. And there we are. We got all of DC just pressuring this tower, running Rose off, and it's going to turn into a tower trade here. But trading a tier 1 for a tier 2, that's a horrible sign. And Rose embracing himself, but has to embrace the death.
Yeah, not the worst thing in the world. They do get at least that mid tower, buying a little bit more time for Envy, and this is just kind of the stuff they have to do in the position they're in. Set Rose up, get MD pushing these lanes as much as possible, but this Underlord, having that maneuverability makes it really, really difficult for NP to keep the lanes in a favorable position so they can move around the map as they want. One of the biggest advantages of that hero is you can always be with your team, so stopping all this split push, sitting at the tower, just constantly shoving these waves out, as almost no hero can push into Firestorm early on in the game, or even as the game goes later, because those scale percentage-wise. So, DC very, very happy with how the game is going now, as we getting close to the Bloodstone as well, only one part away.
They catch out Eternal Envy, they grab him with the Split Earth as well as the Call Down. He's trying to regen, but it's just not enough. Now he's here to fight. We running for his life, but he gets rooted. Doesn't matter how much damage he does over time. You've got to burst someone down immediately if you're stuck there, and he could not do that.
Yeah, they do trade heroes. We going down, so a nice kill for NP, continuing to defend these towers. So if you look at all the lanes, like we talked about, DC has so many good lane pushers, even the supports. Totally fine with just sitting in a lane and pushing them in. It's, DC know exactly where everyone is because they have so much information while these creeps pushed in. And able to play around it. Just continuing to outfarm them all around the map. even though they have this Alchemist behind on gold, not the position you want to be in. It's Resolution, top net worth of the Dragonlance and the HOD now.
Saksa grabs the Chemical Rage. He's going to go off, and I'm pretty sure he's going to go farm it. I mean, now's his time.
Yeah, if we look at Moon's quick buy as well, he's going for the Radiance, so is sort of going on that trend of keeping the lanes out. It's going to be some very, very nice AoE magic damage. As if you look at MP's heroes, none of these heroes really want to buy BKB that badly. MSS wants to get one eventually, but Lone Druid not a hero that likes to get a BKB. The Radiance will make this bear miss, so not able to root constantly going to decrease his chances greatly. So I think it's really good versus the Lone Druid in that sense. Also good versus the Lone Druid's right clicks. The miss chance is going to be huge. Like we said, getting these lanes out. Just the AoE damage makes this Alchemist miss overall. If he does end up going for this Radiance, it's pretty early on. Does still need a lot of gold, but also lets DC scale later. As NP, the Alchemist can be a very good late game hero depending on the heroes the other team has, but traditionally versus some more traditional carries or versus a whole lot of magic damage, versus a lot of these lane shovers, if he doesn't have the lanes in a favorable position.
They get the root onto Alchemist. He's just TPing out. They don't... Oh, the missile almost connecting at the last minute there. But adding on to what you were saying, also, you look at NP, who's really going to be buying an MKB? Like, Alchemist can. He usually doesn't want to. The Lone Druid's going to have other items he's going to want to pick up before that. So there's going to be a good chunk of time there where this Radiance is really going to be just causing hell in fights.
Yeah, and like I said, it'll be a while before he picks this up. If he does at all, he may choose to go for something else, but it'd be kind of cool if he did. It's a nice solution to this Lone Druid. And just overall, you're never really sad if someone has a Radiance on your team. Just overall, just a very good item. Just kind of expensive and hard to build up to, but Underlord, hero that farms very fast for an offlaner, so hero that can actually build up to it without too much trouble. Now with that tier 2 down bottom, just continuing to move around the map, Misery, just shoving out these mid waves, hasn't really been with his team that much at all. Already up to level 10 on the support Jakiro with the Yules as well, so pushing out these lanes, and an NP, not a lot of heroes with catch on their team. They're very, very focused on this team fight, playing around this Lone Druid. And DC doesn't have the most slippery heroes, but their lane pushers are just so good that NP is never really able to make anything happen. They have to show a lot of heroes on the map at all times, so it's super obvious where all the heroes are, and DC just able to continue to move around the map and outfarm them, even without super mobile heroes like the Ember, Storm, stuff like that for Weeha, having this more slow and deliberate hero of Lesh, but still able to have that same effect and getting really farmed. Already has the Bloodstone and 1,300 gold working towards the Blink.
I mean, it's an uphill battle for NP to the point where DC are so comfortable knowing that there's not going to be team fights anytime soon that they're totally fine with dumping their ultimates just to clear out waves. And speaking of fights, Underlord with the rest of DC are here. Moon says it's time to party. Gonna just try to run Rose off. And it is going to be the old tier 1 for a tier 2 trade, but DC are going to be coming out ahead on that exchange.
Yeah, especially since that's the last tier 2, so immediately going to go to these shrines. Edict's one of the best spells in the games at killing the shrines, so it's going to go down very, very quickly, and they should still be able to defend this bottom tower. Actually, Underlord and Lesh still both don't have TPs, so Misery going down there to Macro Pirate should be enough to defend. Just have so many heroes that can just stop them from walking up to these towers like this. And NP can have a really, really hard time trading and splitting these lanes like this.
Oh, the bear taking heavy damage. Actually, Misery's Yulesing it up. This is going to be some good farm, but with the Roar, going to be making Misery run off. Wee's here to clean it up. Oh,
plus 300.
Easy farm. I mean, you look at someone like Arteezy, and I forget what game it was, but he was feeding the bear constantly, and they still came out ahead. But I feel like just the position that NP are in, AUI, he does not have the luxury of letting a single bear die at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but sometimes it's just not something you can really stop from happening. They're very, very easy to go down, and this Liquid Fire is super good versus. You can just never really return it, because it's just always getting that constant tick damage. with we having the blink now as well, sort of like we talked about, them not really having a super mobile hero to push up really far in those lanes, but having the blink now is able to be very, very safe, as no blinks on MP and no blinks to come for a decent amount of time. Looks like MSS is going for that, so it'll give DC a little bit of pickup potential in their no catch heroes team, but with both their shrines down now, their map control is going to be massively suffering as they do have this nice deep ward in top for DC, so able to see whenever heroes are running up and down these lanes, and this one here showing whenever they're running into their jungle. So DC just holding control of the entire map, as Envy trying to push up top, get as much as he can, push out these lanes as far as possible, but DC continuing to get the better end of the farm trade, even though EE does have the Radiance up now.
What is the next item for Envy here? He's got the Radiance. Does he pick up a Manta to, you know, tank up a little bit and then use the illusions to push, or is there some other path that he has to take in order to, you know, keep his team from basically just getting strangled to death at this point?
Yeah, I think it'll most probably just be the typical builds. You know, the Manta, Octree, and those kinds of items. He may go for something like a Blink, but that's sort of risky, as if he doesn't really get kills with it, then he'll be in kind of a rough position, but maybe he can try for some sort of a wombo combo with the Enigma Blink Dagger, and that's sort of what they have to play for at this point. Just get their lanes out as far as they can and wait for DC to make some move towards their base, smoke out, and maybe try and take a fight. While DC is all clumped up, but with Moon is going for the Radiance, has a Sacred Relic now, is going to cancel MSS's Blink, or at least make it annoying for him to position himself in these fights as well. So just continuing to stack the odds up in their favor for DC, as Resolution has the BKB now as well and working towards the MKB.
And I mean, I think that Radiance is a brilliant idea on Moon. Like, looking at just the side of NP now, Wyvern, you know, she can cold embrace someone, right? But they're still going to be taking that burn damage no matter what. Someone like Crystal Maiden, so squishy, like, this is going to be forcing the 15% magic resistance, which is usually what you get. I don't think NP are going to be clowny enough to get the 50 damage on the Maiden. But even with that, I mean, she has so little health. She'll melt just being around the fight. It's going to be forcing her off.
Yeah, these supports really don't have the tools to deal with the Radiances. You know, like I said before, they just don't have much damage on NP whenever they're behind like this. They really need this Laundry to be farmed and sort of protect him, have these teamfight control spells to enable the Laundry. That's sort of what their draft does. But
oh, they catch out MSS in the jungle. He was debating whether he wanted to go in or not, but he's caught in the root. He does actually mech himself up. He's trying to bait around. He gets 2 in the black hole. AUI is here with the bear. They might be able to take down Moon. He gets the Savage Roar just to chase him off the MSS. Misery's gonna maybe gun him down. Oh, can he do it? AUI does take the kill, and the Jakiro actually falls. That was a perfect jabait there by MSS. During all that, Resolution trying to push top, but Envy was there.
yeah, it was a very, very nice fight from MP, and that's exactly the kind of stuff they have to do. Use the black hole. Did it in the perfect spot as well, where the Rubik wasn't in range to steal it. Turned around, couldn't disable it as well. With telekinesis, Weehaw going for some other heroes in the sidelines. So this very, very strange split fight, and MP taking advantage of it, getting a couple of kills. Aoi getting both of them, so sort of, you know, clawing themselves back onto the map, and that's kind of the kind of stuff you have to do. EE farming top. All the meanwhile, like you said, has the Yash up now, 1,000 gold. So working towards the Radiance. And NP will have a timing where whenever EE does have a considerable amount of items, AOI has some right-clicking strength up, they have that black hole, they will have some very strong team fight as they kill Misery again and probably going to get this top tower as well.
So they're definitely not out of this. It is... I don't think we can really credit one particular person on the side of NP. I think they just banded together and really have started dealing with what DC are bringing to the table. And they really just needed to wait out, I think, the storm and lose as little as possible. And as I say this, oh, we caught in the middle of a quadfecta of NP. He gets gunned down there. I turned trifecta in a new word.
Yeah, I don't think he realized how many people were there. He blinked in. Maybe only saw a couple with this word, or figured just the laundry was there, something like that. Blinked in, wasn't able to get his edict off, so wasn't really doing too much damage, and like you said, does go down, loses some bloodstone charges, but uses the deny at least, so NP not getting any gold for that. Just a little bit of an irritation for Weehao, but does have the Yules now, so he's not really lacking too much in the mana region department, but is level 15, so maybe able to get this kill down here on Aoi.
Yeah, he's looking for it, gearing up. Got lucky with that
no TP on Aoi.
invisibility. Uh-oh. Now for 35. He does have the roar available, but the Split Earth catching both. He was waiting for them to gear up, and Misery to actually catch him out on the flank to pincer their in. The Savage Roar was off, but that's not going to be enough. That was precise.
Yeah, they do clean up resolution on top though, so trading carry for carry across the map, and be able to shove in this top lane super far as well, so has the Manta up now. Actually looking pretty good. Up to the 16k net worth now. Slowly working towards that Octarine, up to 1700 gold as well, so almost has does have the Radiance now on Moon, and they still have extremely good team fight, but with the E getting a lot more of these items, they will have some nice front line between the Enigma and the Alchemist for this Lone Druid to throw those shots in. The Enigma working towards black BKB as well now, having the Ogre Club and 1k gold, so with that, NP will have some extremely strong team fight, although it will be on some pretty long cooldowns.
Oh, Envy getting caught out in the Yules. And the Splitter gonna stun himself, stuck there for a million years. But he gets a bounty rune out of it, that's worth it.
Yeah, it has the ultimate, so any of that chip damage doesn't really bother him at all. 2.6k gold now, just continuing to rack up the money. Having some very nice GPM at this point, is they really don't have the heroes to punish him. So we sort of talked about NP not really having the greatest catch heroes, but the same goes for DC, having very much just a lot of 5-man heroes, and we sort of trying to counteract that by getting the Blink and the Yule, so getting some pick off in there, integrating it into their lineup somehow, but NP still able to push out these lanes without too much risk, unless they get a little bit unlucky, like with the Invis rune down bottom on Wii. Other than that,
it's feeling like at this point for DC, like, resolution is a non-factor. Like, I mean, he's only been involved in, what, 4 of the kills? And he's just kind of, like, gently pushed lanes, farmed up. I think he's there as, like, an insurance policy. Like, I would say resolution dying is less worrisome for DC than AUI dying on the Druid.
Yeah, I don't think the Soul Druid needs to be super interactive in these fights. You know, there are only 9 kills on DC's side, so not a super kill happy game. Just a lot of lane pushing, backing up, playing safe, and farming up is not, like we said, neither team really with heroes that can make moves super well. And yeah, just continue to farm up. Gyrocopter, not a very mobile hero, so just pushing out these lanes. Is quite farmed, has the Demon Edge working towards the MKB, so it's gonna have it pretty soon. Gonna counteract the Radiance. This Gyrocopter, NP, does not have the heroes to deal with him if he gets, a lot of farm this game. So this is one of the few games where Gyrocopter can actually do really well late game. As well, when he gets to level 25 with the extra flat cannon attacks, can be extremely strong and actually, maybe trade hits with this Lone Druid, or at least be able to hit him with the 10 flat cannon hits. So it doesn't have to be right up in his face, can be a little bit farther away, just flacking onto him. Could be a decent solution as the game goes later.
Oh man, they catch out Misery, but the Maiden grabbed up and ripped down. DC are here to party. Pit Lord rifting in the rest of his team. And NP being forced to run as fast as humanly possible.
Yep, they do only lose the CM, get Misery, force the Dark Rift up to top, and he immediately back down to bottom, has the enough gold for the Octarine core now as well. 6k gold in this Alchemist is going to make it even easier to shove out these lanes, and NP have a pretty strong timing right now, only really missing the BKB and MSS for their team fight capability to be sort of maxed out.
Oh, we get the black hole just on the Gyrocopter. He's getting torn apart. Actually falls, even with the BKB there. And Envy, oh, the stolen black hole. Oh, it doesn't matter. Looks like DC are going to take the bad side of this fight there. A gem is dropped, and the Wyvern going to just slowly crawl over and take it. This is fantastic. NP really bringing it, turning the game around. I mean, they're just demonstrating that, a push strat is not always the end of the world. If you can just hang in there and move around as a team properly.
Yeah, the first few minutes looking pretty grim for NP, but after that, not really giving up any kills at all. AOI going down one time at bottom. But other than that, just continuing to farm up, push out these lanes. The Lone Druid, just so strong, just so much damage. Absolutely shredded the Gyrocopter and the Underlord in that last fight as he was off to the side. No one really able to pressure him or get on top of him as he is just so fast with the phase boots, running at 536. So able to just constantly throw these attacks in, almost has the BKB now as well. So NP's teamfight is going to be extremely strong, and if they can get these lanes out and find a good initiation with smoke or something like that, they could be in a really good position, as NP, I think, is very comfortable with how the game is going right now for them.
And now, I mean, AUI is going to have himself a BKB coming out. The most impressive thing about NP is they've just managed to find a good chunk of farm where there has been no farm to be found for most of the game. I mean, they have cut off. They have had their entire jungle cut off. And... oh, we just fighting an illusion.
Yeah, it does pick up the Blade Veil now in EE, so continuing to build in sort of that style of just running in, giving space to his Lone Druid to get these right clicks off. DC, you can see they kind of want to make a move, all migrating together. It looks like they don't have a smoke on the courier. Sox doesn't have one as well, so not able to smoke up because they don't have one on either of the heroes, but staying together, playing on this Roshan as they realize it's extremely important right now. Whichever team gets that will have a much better chance. They really can't give this away to the Lone Druid, or they'll really have no way to kill him. But if they can't get that on Resolution or into Weeha, then they'll have a much better time in these fights and will actually be able to run into NP without too much fear of them just getting gunned down by the Sniper Druid.
NP, yeah, they knew that the Roche was going to be happening, so they smoke up. They're getting ready. Maybe they can position themselves. I've noticed NP, with their fight positioning, they tend to be less of a spearhead style, you know, in a straight line fight, and they prefer to come in on the flanks and then collapse. So hopefully they have the patience to, yeah, just wait for that. Like, straight run-in fight has not been the most successful for them, with the exception of the fight in where the Radiant Jungle Shrine would have been by the Ancients.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't really have the heroes to do that. Enigma, really their only initiator, and not a hero that you want to just jump immediately into the fight, as DC does have a lot of ways to counterplay it.
Oh, DC, they're here. Roche has fallen. No one's gotten the Aegis just yet. Envy actually running into the fight before it. The black hole getting canceled out there. Pit Lord is out of there. Resolution's still stuck around here, though. AUI does take that Aegis, by the way. And now, NP chasing down Resolution. Good attempt at an ice path there from Misery. But now Lone Druid, oh, he gets the cold embrace. Barely staying alive there. Caught back into the root. Yep, there's that Aegis being popped. Jakiro's in the center of all of this action. And now Moon gonna be manning up on Lone Druid. There's the stolen, the stolen black hole, but oh no. MSS running for his life. Can he get out of there? It looks like DC's attentions are now just entirely on EE, as he is between 4 heroes. Yeah, he will fall. Doesn't matter how much regen you have. And now DC.
Yeah, very nice turnaround in that fight. The Lone Druid already up. He's a very balanced level 20 talent. So, not going to be able to get any racks off of this DC, but a very, very nice turnaround in this fight. Just playing around the Lone Druid extremely well, going in and out, not letting him get a lot of right clicks off, and just continuing to pressure and bounce in and out, getting these stuns off. So he didn't have the BKB in that fight, but does have it now. I think he had used it earlier in the fight. So MSS just barely whiffing the black hole. DC's heroes sort of going at a delta split and not able to catch anyone, but still going pretty well for NP at the start of the fight. But after it sort of devolved into this more skirmishy style, DC taking advantage of it quite a bit, so pulling it back to not the worst fight in the world. I also don't think DC is the most worried right now. The Lone Druid is going to be very, very strong later on, and NP does have some extremely strong team fight, but so does DC. So I think this game, a lot of it does come down to execution, these team fights, and how they go down. Although NP does have slightly better teamfight ultimates, and that's sort of what DC's forte is as well. But I would say NP is slightly better, so I think DC is definitely going to have to execute extremely well these fights for them to go well for them, like they did in that last one. Have to keep executing like that, or this game's going to get really difficult really quickly as the lone druid working towards the Scotty. So it's going to be extremely tanky, and you'll be able to continue to just punish this Gyrocopter, who's really not had the biggest impact in this game. Kind of a subpar hero compared to how good this lone druid is right now.
Speaking of impact, I mean the Underlord Jakiro combinations have been outstanding. Like, even in the losing fights for DC, they've still done a great job of just crowd control and keeping NP from being able to weave in and out of these fights like most of their heroes prefer to do. And when they caught them at the Roche pit, the pit of malice right in the entrance there, catching out all of NP, like, oh, that was phenomenal. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was really nice. Looks like Moon's going for this AC, so not going for the Shivas. Looks like Sui's going to be going for that. So building up several armor items going to help deal with this lone druid at least a little bit. You know, some of these nice auras going to help the Gyro stay alive. It's not a hero that typically builds armor items. Only has 14 right now, so kind of gets pummeled by the lone druid. Is going for the Satanic, so sort of fixing that a little bit. Going to try and beef up his tankiness. As NP just sort of migrating down to this bottom lane. Maybe looking for a fight here. Is we pretty far up. Gets rooted. I mean, gets roared, but not looking enough to get a root, as he will just trot away.
He's so fast. Like, good luck catching him, man. That's the gingerbread man. And on top of that, he gets a haste room. Oh.
Yep, does have the Shivas not completed on the Lesh, so sitting very pretty resolution. Set up towards the Satanic, and sort of a stalemate right now, pushing out these lanes, both teams waiting for their big ults to come back up, or at least NP is. The Black Hole not quite up, 40 seconds left, as they are dark rifting to top lanes. Looks like they do want to take a fight here.
They're
we
ready.
hope the bots can be here at any time.
And they've smoked. NP, yeah, did they have vision of the Dark Rift there?
I'm not sure if it shows up on the mini-map. I don't think it
Well,
does.
but did they
It
see
does
Underlord
not.
casting?
No, they didn't see him casting. The creep was out of vision. for them.
SVG caught out. They grab him with the Yules. Ice Path a little bit off the mark, but that doesn't even matter. Resolution will gun him down, and Soxa will take the kill. Envy fighting up, taking down the Rubik. That's going to be very valuable, as the Black Hole will be up very soon. Resolution trying to debate Envy. Oh, we taking down the Enigma before anything bad can happen for DC. And it's...
Yeah, it was a super nice play from Wii, killing him on the side, so their biggest teamfight spell is down, and Envy's Chemical Rage is down for 5 seconds now as well, so they need to back up, as they really don't want to fight without this Enigma. A fight that it looked like it could have gone very, very sour in the beginning, but MSS getting caught there on the side by Wii, sort of saving that fight that could have gone disastrously.
They
The
threw him in a pincher.
Gyrocopter... Yeah, the Gyrocopter is just continuing to just not have the biggest impact, sort of a rough hero. Getting really just kited by a lot of NPCs here. You can sort of see it. EE with this Blade Mail just runs in, and they really have no way to deal with him at all. Just they just have to walk away and let him just stand there. Pummels down Rubik, not much they can do. So getting that kill really saved the fight for DC. Really nice play from Miha.
So next up, we're going to be passing out some Aghanims like it's Halloween, Eternal Envy. Who would be the first Aghanims here? Would it be Druid, so that he can push with the bear? I don't think so. Maybe Enigma for that additional Midnight Pulse on the Black Hole?
Probably either Enigma or CM. What's CM's again? Is it
it roots with the Frostbite if they've been in it for 2.5 seconds. So maybe that one. The old one was kind of bad.
The old one was better, I think. 2.5 seconds is a long time to be in that ultimate and not have popped BKB or something. I think the old one was actually better. But
We
are
getting
caught
grabbed
out
out
a little bit.
Yeah, and he is in the center of this ultimate. Speak of the devil. He's had a
MSS
rough
catching
game.
it with the Malphus. This have the Guardian Greaves now as well on MSS, so a little bit more armor. Not having the mana cost, so won't have issues casting his Black Hole. Sometimes as you level that spell up, you'll have issues dealing with that huge mana cost, 400 as well as popping mech and all the other items, as well as your other spells. They are all plus 150 plus mana. So
Yeah.
with the Guardian Greaves, won't have issues with his mana pool ever at all. So is going to be able to take these fights just fine. Going for the Lincolns now as well. So with the Lincolns and the BKB pops, DC will have no way to cancel the black hole, and it's going to be really hard for them to play around that.
Well, we do have DC committing to a counter push here. They're only going to be able to hold off NP for so long, though, as they have a lot of heroes who can get very big very quick. Wee in the center of this, he just came back, and now he's getting converged on. Actually blinking out. Great job, Wee. Just a slight mistiming there by SVG on that Crystal Nova.
Yeah, almost impossible to land it, to time it perfectly whenever he's lands down Yules. As long as he clicks in the direction he's facing, he'll almost always make the blink. You have to have something sitting under him, like a Storm Remnant or a Invoker Tornado, and even then, sometimes you can get out. So doesn't make it out from the Yules, as NP just back to farming. EE almost up to that first Ags. EE, not good night. AUI finishing with the Scotty now, so gonna add some more kiting potential to these fights. And DC sort of falling behind a little bit. They are still getting up some items. Misery going for the Midas this game, so realizing this game is probably gonna go late, and they have a lot of magic damage heroes on their team, not a lot of typical cores or heroes you think go amazingly well late game whenever paired together.
I think DC's biggest problem was we tripped up quite a few times. He was snowballing, and then he just got caught in the Radiant Jungle quite a few times, and that fed a lot of gold, and that's, he's down to 7 Bloodstone charges now. He's been having a difficult time getting those back up, bless you. And then, I mean, I don't know, it feels like the whole push strategy, all of DC's momentum was revolved around Wii.
Yeah, the thing about these games that go later, but there's teams with just a whole lot of magic damage. A lot of it just does come down to initiation and how you can play in and out so you can get the most spells off. But Resolution looks like he's going to get caught here. Not really the hero you want to go on, as he does now have the Satanic and the BKB. He's going to get Scotty down.
Yeah, he does pop that. Tries to call down, but he's going to get annihilated by EE there. And it's looking like Moon bringing the crew back just to reset him. SVG falling very, very low. Envy's in the center of this. Yeah, this is what he's all about. Getting caught up in the root. DC on the back foot.
That constant threat of the black hole, they just really can't deal with it. You have to play super passive and kite around, as MSS just always has it ready and waiting.
Oh, SVG, freezing field. It slows down Saksa a little bit, but is it going to be able to? Yeah, it kept him back just enough for the rest of NP to engage, keep him slowed. And during that fight, Moon Meander kept the Radiance up, and I mean, that Alchemist Blade Mail really did a lot to him. He was taking basically two instances of Radiance there. Doesn't matter how much armor you have when that happens.
Yeah, and no buybacks now on DC, so they may be able to take the racks here with Misery throwing down the macro power, but not going to be able to kill these creeps in time before the backdoor regeneration does get turned off. As Rose trying to save one of the creeps with the heal, but not able to do it in time. But with no buybacks on DC, and Audilor is still down for 25, looks like they are going to lose a set of racks here. As NP gone from being in a rough position, losing all their shrines in around 15 minutes, to now being in the driver's seat.
It's the power of hot sauce. They're all fired up.
Indeed.
So, I mean, what's the win condition now for DC? They're down to racks. They're having problems in these fights. Their hero, who should have been their snowballing mid, is, working towards an Octarine core, but only has 4 Bloodstone charges. What do? Keep control of Roche and just hope that they win a fight and then take a lane?
Yeah, they really need to make sure they get this next Roshan. They can't give it to NP. They have no way at all to deal with this Laundry if he has an Aegis, let alone 1 life. It's hard enough to deal with, so 2, it's just not really something they can deal with. So they're going to be looking to get in these silence, maybe force an NP rotation somewhere, get a pick off around that Roshan time, and then try and take a fight around the Roche, get that Aegis, and then they can sort of play the game from there. That's definitely going to be an uphill battle. Is this, you know, they just really don't have ways to get on top of this Lone Druid. They wanted to punish him early, take all his towers, and then maybe just sort of snowball the game, but that plan kind of falling apart. Is NP not really giving up too many kills, picking a lot of deep push heroes, this Alchemist, after having a rough start, getting all these items up and just being this frontline hero, and DC really not having the right clickers to deal with him. Not able to melt him down like you can to a lot of Alchemists as the game goes later and later. Not an amazing late game hero, but just kind of untouchable now with the AC as well as his Blade Mail. Has so much armor, so much HP regen. And like we said, DC just not really with any right clickers, not really with a way to bring him down.
And DC, originally afraid of that black hole, now that the Enigma has the Aghanim Scepter given to him from Eternal Envy, that's going to be even more terrifying. If he can get off a Midnight Pulse first and then black hole, that's... oh man, what's that? 10.5 maximum HP per second?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of damage. As both teams know the Roshan is up, they had HOD creeps in there. We are getting kind of chipped down here.
He's getting caught. The Split Earth will catch the bear, but that's not the one you really want to run from, as AUI hits really hard. Wee does deny himself with that Bloodstone, but I mean, he's done. 2 charges now. Painful.
Yeah, was trying his best to get this top line in, but got hit one time by the Lone Druid, then he's Scotty, then he has to walk all the way up to try and use the Lone Druid, and then gets roared back. Just getting kited around masterfully, and now NP gonna take this Roshan. AUI putting this HOD into his backpack. And now with that Aegis, they're gonna have an extremely hard time dealing with this Lone Druid. So they may just try and get their lanes out real quick. You can see DC not really wanting to let them just walk down a lane. Misery trying to cut these waves. EE TPing the bottom to try and get them out. And NP just immediately running across the map to try and counter DC's movements, keep them from getting these lanes out and defending them. So Mumiander getting an Illusion Rune, so trying to cut the waves with his Radiance. But EE guarding this wave, walking him down the lane.
Yeah, DC are having a tough time dealing with EE. Just the Octarine bots is allowing him to be, I mean, even regardless of illusion pushing with Manta, he's just so mobile and can be everywhere. He's already, you know, bots are already available. So he's going to be able to just go and stop any push that DC have to offer.
Yep, so they do get the T2, now they have access to the shrine, so it looks like Aoi's going to finish that up while NB, okay, no, they are all just going to get back, play it safe.
Moonrader getting caught, separated from the Jakiro, so he's, yep, blade mailed to death. Rose, though, is stuck in the call down, heal himself up with the Cold Embrace. The Alchemist stuck high, thrown back, Saksa. Oh, with the stolen... oh my god, dude. Stolen Winter's Curse. Forgot the name of it for a second there, but he's 2 will fall. MSS is there for the fight. So
yep,
2
nice
for 1.
Kills.
That's painful.
They defend their lanes, but we are immediately running back down in this bottom lane, so DC going to try and keep NP from getting down these lanes as much as possible. Having the Lincolns now as well in MSS, so now working towards the Refresher Orb, so extremely hard for DC team fight them, because as well the Lone Druid having the Aegis, so just going to continue to try and split push, keep these lanes out as much as possible, and force NP to react. We are almost at the level 25 talent, so he's going to have the plus 50 Diabolic Edict ticks, so if he does get in a position where they're trading racks, or he's able to set up and maybe split push a little bit, can kill these buildings extremely quickly, so MP has to be very, very careful while keeping these lanes out. And while they would like to just walk down a lane and, you know, take the game straight forward, go get a racks with this Aegis, DC is not going to let them do that. It's going to draw this game out and look for opportunities as the game goes later, as late game Dota can be quite unpredictable.
I mean, DC could have lost a mid-racks there if it were not for Misery catching out Envy during his TP to go to mid lane. But talking about catching out, they actually use a black hole just for Wee. Yeah, Weehaw falling. Suppose it's worth it just to prevent all of that, you know, creep cutting. I don't really know if that was necessary.
They get the kill, they get the lanes out, and now without Weehaw and not a lot of these other heroes in position to push up the lanes, only Misery really shoving in this top lane, and Rose going to counteract that. They are trying to position him out around mid, trying to get to the racks. DC continuing just try and slow it down. You can see Weehaw just pushed up extremely far in this bottom lane, trying to get this wave out as soon as possible, but they are going to lose their shrines now, so NP losing their shrines very early on, and now DC going to lose theirs considerably later in the game, as and he is definitely in control right now, getting a hill ward up on this left side for DC, so looking for any heroes setting up here allows them to split push even better. So you can see just continuing to try and get these lanes out as much as possible.
I gotta say, could Misery have built a little better? I feel like an entire E-Blade on a hero. Is that more so to help save his own teammates? I feel like that's a little greedy. That could have been a Glimmer Cape.
He's going for the EB Dagon, so they realize that if they're going to win this game, it's going to be going late. And Ethereal Blade Dagon is one of the best combinations for late game Dota, as you can always just burst random heroes at any point. He can get an Octarine core maybe as the game goes even later. It will have an extremely low respawn time, as his level 25 is the minus 50-second respawn timer, so it's going to sort of be always off, going to be able to take on people down, as he does have the level 1 Dagon now. So I actually like this build quite a bit, and it gives them sort of a chance to give them some more damage, which they thoroughly lack right now. But
well, bottom racks rather for DC getting pushed in, and we have the TP in, an immediate blink out. All of NP are ready to push this. DC not letting them get a single toe in their base without being pressured, but it was a good chunk of damage to the melee racks before NP managed to get pushed back there.
Yeah, they force everyone back, not wanting to risk anything, as they know they are in control right now. The Lone Druid still has room to grow, has a Demon Edge in his stash, and 3.6k gold, so going to be finishing up that MKB. Almost 6 slotted on this Lone Druid. You know, immediately just running across the map, trying to get these lanes out as fast as possible. You can see Rose heading to top lane, playing around his team as they finish off this last shrine. Rose going Midas as well. So, having quite a bit of items. The Blink, Glimmer Cape, Pipe, and now it looks like working towards an Aether Lens as well.
The catch Soxa, but Moon Meander is here. He actually gets rooted up as well, immediately trying to just Dark Rift out, but he falls way too fast as SVG was up on the ledge, blasting him with that level 2 freezing field, now level 3. And Eternal Envy chopping down Soxa.
Yep, that plus 50 Edicts ticks going to work at top lane, almost finishing up that tower and forcing NP back, almost killing Rose in just a half a second, and is able to blink away after the Winner's Curse. So we are putting in some really good split push and forcing NP back even after getting a couple of kills, not immediately to get the racks.
Oh no, Envy is the focus now. He does have the Blade Mail up, but is he going to be tanky enough to take on a lot of DC? Oh, AUI! Man-moding up on the gyro, taking him away. While Eternal Envy and his illusions trying to backdoor during all of this, AUI takes down Misery. And I don't think he has enough damage yet to break backdoor. GG!
Yep, no buyback on the Gyrocopter, no buyback on the Underlord. And they just really don't have the damage to take this fight. The Lone Druid just too strong, has buyback on all of their heroes as well, so if they do lose the fight, they can TP back in and take the throne. So DC deciding to just call it now, as they had a very clear plan from their draft, but not really able to execute as NP, just not giving up too many kills, getting their lanes out constantly, and just playing that farm game in the mid game, getting a couple of pickoffs and snowballing some of their cores to the point where the Gyrocopter wasn't really able to have the impact they wanted him to. The Shrek falling behind. It's a hero that can't really run in and stay alive versus Lone Druid and Alchemist once they have the farm they need to just stand, turn, and right-click him and aren't forced to run away. So MP playing very well from behind and turning this game around. A nice start in this 2-game series for them.
Yes, this is a round-robin best of 2s, so no one will be getting eliminated. This is more just for qualifying and seeding. So stick around for Game 2. Maybe DC will learn from this game, or maybe NP will keep dominating. If you enjoyed our casting, make sure you follow my wonderful analyst here at CCNC Dota 2, right? Yeah, at CCNC Dota 2, as well as myself at VTM Dota. We will be right back with Game 2 very, very shortly.